And hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan. Once again, bringing you my thoughts and review for today's premiere of Disney's and Marvel Loki. That's right, Loki is here, Marvel's next project, and starring Tom Hiddleston and, of course, Owen Wilson. By the way, fun fact, Owen Wilson joins his brother now in a comic book universe struggle when you have Owen Wilson, part of the Marvel Universe, and his brother Luke Wilson, part of the DCEU, or the DC Universe, Arrowverse, whatever you want to call it. So that's pretty fun. So, let's talk about Loki, because the last time we saw Loki, spoiler alert for Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, he died. But did he? Now, we all know Loki's supposed to die. We get that, he comes back. But this time, he came back for being from the past. Now, when in Endgame, when the team had to go back to 2012 to get the Tesseract and the Time Stone and the Mind Stone, Loki picked up the Tesseract and vanished without a trace. And we were like, wondering, what happened to Loki? Where did he go? Now we know where he's at. He ends up in another, I guess, like desert place, somewhere very far away from where the action is going on. And he ends up getting captured by the TVA, the Time Bureau. So they capture Loki because he's pretty much a time variant that's not supposed to be out of place. And I'll explain that in a minute. So, excuse me. So some spoilers happening. If you haven't seen Loki yet, go watch it because I'm gonna spoil this here. So anyway, he gets captured. He goes into this kind of office build. Kind of looks like a combination of if Disney World was built on the government's property. Kind of boring waiting room area, very creepy style. He's in some kind of weird office looking place. He goes there, he has no idea what's going on, his powers are not working, he's got a collar around his neck, I guess that dampers his powers, and he's basically outside of time. So he ends up meeting this guy named Morbius, played by Owen Wilson, and he tells him, hey man, time works very differently here. And basically he starts showing Loki what crimes he committed. He committed a crime of, hey, listen, man, you broke time. You literally broke time. Basically, what happens is, apparently, thousands of years, even probably before the Eternals, time and the multiverse were at war with each other. And I kind of liked how they explained it. So they were at war with each other, and then the time, I guess, gods came on, and they're like, you know what? We're going to fix this problem. So they just took all the different timelines, all throughout the multiverse, and slapped it together as one timeline for the whole multiverse. But if somebody goes out of line and it starts to break said timeline, the time literally line, then they have these special forces police officers that will come in, grab that person or thing, and put it back where it's supposed to be and reset the traffic flow. If in a way, think of it as a traffic jam. If you have traffic flowing perfectly, yeah, it's great. But if one car gets out of line and everybody else starts piling up on each other, that's bad. So they have to fix that before everything goes into chaotic and before they have another war. So I thought that was actually a pretty cool way of them explaining how multiverse can live and coexist with each other. Maybe this is how they're gonna explain how the Fantastic Four are a part of the MCU now, and how the X-Men are gonna be evolved. Who knows? But we have to wait and see what happens with that. But that was really cool. Then, of course, Owen Wilson's character shows Loki pretty much his entire life of what exactly was supposed to happen if he did not take the Tesseract and disappear. He was supposed to get captured, go to Asgard, that Asgard being Thor the Dark World, the Dark Elves killing his mother. He sees that. He has remember, this is Loki from 2012, so he has no knowledge of this yet. So he was supposed to see his mother die. Then, of course, it was supposed to be him becoming ruler of Asgard, sending Odin to, I guess, Earth in a way. And then, of course, setting up Ragnarok, and then, of course, his death. Loki does try to escape at one point, doesn't turn into his favor. He does escape. He finds the Tesseract again, but then we find out that the Tesseract and all the other Infinity Stones are there, but they're pretty much useless. They're little trinkets that people put in their, they say that the people who work there say, oh, they're just paperweights. They're not exactly anything. So he's basically stuck there, and he can't do anything. And I thought that was actually very clever too, saying that, hey, these time guys are not to be messed with. They're more powerful than even the Infinity Stones. So that was cool. Then we find out that Owen Wilson is tracking down a time variant that's even more dangerous than Loki. And then we find out, that this mysterious person is going around attacking their agents, and we don't know who he is. And then they reveal the person at the end, and I'll get to that in a minute. But what I like about seeing this is that Loki thinks, he first gets there, he's like, you know what, I'm a god, I don't need to be here, I don't have to worry about these things, I want to get out of here. And then he sees his life pretty much in a I guess in a film. They kind of have like a projector, and they film his entire lifespan, and he sees his life flash before his eyes, literally. He sees him dying, and then he realizes, he's like, wow, I guess I'm not a great god after all. Because that's always Loki's thing. He always thinks he's better than everybody. He thinks he should be a god. He thinks he should be ruler of Asgard and all that. But yet, he sees his life and how it ends up eventually turning out. He's always failing time after time after time. And even when he got captured by Thanos, he still failed, and he lost. He died. Yeah, he saw him, rekindle his brotherhood with Thor, and they becoming a brother with, them bonding each other, brothers for life. But even with that, he kind of failed. He failed his brother trying to help him out with Thanos, and then he died himself. So him seeing that, he starts to realize, like, yeah, do I even, like, what's my purpose now? So that was actually kind of cool. Because remember, this is 2012 Loki. So none of this stuff has actually happened to him yet. But him seeing that, because the original timeline Loki has already died. So this version's not even supposed to exist at all. He was supposed to go through all the MCU movies and then eventually die. And that's the end of Loki. But man, and then of course, the very end of the episode, we get the reveal of who Owen Wilson's character is going after. And we find out it's Loki himself. Loki, apparently, there's another Loki out there, apparently taking these time, I guess, little bombs that the Time Bureau leaves, and it resets time. So this Loki person is taking these little bombs, and I guess he wants to reset time himself. Who knows? But we have to wait and see what happens. This episode was cool. I thought it was very well done, and I thought, them explaining the multiverse and, their version of the multiverse, was very good, DC's multiverse is very different from Marvel's, obviously, but, sometimes even DC has certain moments where, like, wait, can you slow it down? Can you explain it a little bit more slowly? Because sometimes, DC, even us DC fans know, sometimes explaining their multiverse, it's very hard to complex. And the same thing with Marvel, but I think what Marvel's even worse. In my opinion, I think Marvel's timeline, multiverse thing is a lot worse. But I think Marvel, I think what the MCU did here kind of explained it a little bit better. That, they had a war. These three gods come out of nowhere. They fix it. They make it one timeline that has all the multiverse in one timeline, and they make sure nothing happens to it until Loki came along and he kind of messed it up, and now they have to pretty much fix it before it goes all out of whack. So that was a cool way to explain it. Maybe this is going to be a way that they're going to set up the MCU's version of Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So fingers crossed. But so far so good, Listen, I love Tom Hiddleston. I think he does a great job with this character. I'm not a super big fan of Owen Wilson. There are some movies I like about with him in it, and some of them I don't. But he was really good in this episode, so I can't wait to see more between him and Tom Hiddleston. And I think they play off each other very, very well. I thought that worked. I thought the environment of, like, yeah, the Time Bureau is kind of like they live outside of time, and they're very strict when it comes to like protecting the timelines. So I thought that was very well done. I love the subtle moments when you see Loki seeing himself as a god at one point, and then he just shuts down because he realizes like his purpose in life is to fail, and maybe he wants to change that. Who knows? But yeah, because when you watch this, he's like in the beginning he's acting like Loki, oh, I'm confident, I'm Loki, a god of Asgard, king of Asgard, all that. And then he sees his life going through and what he's supposed to be destined for, and he just shuts down and breaks down. He even asks, wait, how come I never heard of you guys before? And then Owen Wilson's character says, oh, well, you're not supposed to. We've been around throughout the MCU, throughout all the MCU, but you guys aren't supposed to know we exist. So that's a great thing. They have them all, their purpose in life set up perfectly already. So Loki messed it up. Now they have to fix it. So hopefully Loki kind of learns a little lesson. We get to see Loki a little bit more. I don't think we're gonna see him after this. No idea unless we get a second season. Who knows? But let's see where this journey takes us. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Did you guys enjoy the first episode? Do you guys think it's going to be any good, bad? You think it's going to be more trippy than WandaVision? Let's face the facts. I thought WandaVision was trippy. This stuff probably makes that look like nothing. This actually might make even DC's Legends of Tomorrow look like nothing. Because honestly, some of the stuff that DC's Legends of Tomorrow does is like, okay, some of the time stuff that they mess with is kind of crazy. Here, it looks like it's Disneyland on steroids with all the trippy stuff that they do here. So that was a lot of fun. So I can't wait to see more of that. And knowing that the Infinity Stones don't work in here, that means these guys have power. So it's gonna be fun to see what Loki's gonna do to try to get himself out of this. But or try to make himself even more powerful than he is already. So it should be a fun ride. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Stay tuned for more, and thank you very much, and have a good day.